Hi friends, welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra. Here again at Attitude First Martial Arts Academy today with my friend Tony Luna, who is one of my jiu-jitsu mentors, and the inimitable, indescribable Master Ken. And today we're going to talk about doing some gun disarms and how to fight somebody with a long gun.
I use Throom targets on the range for all the benefits of steel with none of the drawbacks. They're made in the USA too. Pick up a set to make your shooting more fun and effective.
Some guns are longer than others.
That's true. That's why we call it a long gun instead of, well, we normally call it a pistol or a handgun. That's more like a hands gun. It's long.
Sometimes also affected by the temperature. A lot of people don't know that. A gun is actually shorter when it's cold.
He's making a penis joke, is what he's doing there.
I'm not joking about anything. I'm talking about serious techniques.
So, Master Ken, you do a lot of long gun disarm techniques in Ameridote?
Yeah, all day, every day. Yeah, we practice with every length of potential weapon. I've taught people how to defend themselves with everything short of a toothpick, all the way to the length of a telephone pole. In Ameridote, size doesn't matter.
Good thing. All right, let me start a little bit here with Tony, and we'll bring you back in a second, Master Ken. So again, a long gun here. Guys, principles are exactly the same, right? When we talk about the 5Ds plus 1 on the channel, and we just had one on the channel of a guy disarming a guy and beat the crap out of him who pulled a long gun on him. He pulled a long gun, and the guy that pulled a long gun, who was the attacker, got absolutely owned, like beat like a rented donkey. Good job, right? And we see people who are really not kung fu master martial artists do this stuff all the time. The principles are the same, 5Ds plus 1. You got to control the distance first. Once the distance is controlled, that's the plus 1. If you launch this from a wrong distance, if Tony has got 2 hands on that gun and he steps back where I can't put my hands on this and I go, ready, go, he's going to shoot me. That's the bottom line, right? If I don't launch this at the right time with the distance controlled, I'm in trouble. Now, in the particular instance that we saw on the video, he actually wasn't pointing the gun at that moment. He actually had the gun kind of held cross body, almost like a port arms, very much like Tony's doing right now. But let's just say kind of worst case scenario that instead he has the gun pointed up and at me. So again, if I can control the distance, hey man, I don't want any problems. The purposeful compliance to get to a place, hey man, I don't want any trouble. Now we deflect, dominate, distract, disarm, and disable. Deflect, dominate, distract, disarm, and disable. So first of all, I don't want to just drive into this because he'll shoot me. That's a bad day, okay? I want to get offline. I like a combination of both getting me offline and moving the muzzle, if I can. Now, which way is the right way? If I move this way or that way? I don't think there's necessarily a right way here to go one side or the other. I will say I prefer to go to the side with the ejector port because I want to get my hand on that sucker if I possibly can, okay? So again, I am just going to simply go, oh man, I don't want any trouble. And now I'm going to grab and push and move me as well. Now that felt a little martial artsy for some people. Doesn't even really have to be. I can simply step in and move it offline too. Now I'm backing away from this. Okay, cool. Now if he shoots, this is a bad day, right? I don't know quite where that bullet is going. We're in the midst of things right now. Okay, now straight up, I'm going to then dominate. How do I dominate this? Well, I have control of the muzzle right now, but he has control of the gun. So how am I going to dominate this? I'm doing my very best to now crash it into him. So all I'm going to do in looking for that is now I'm wrapping and going. Now does this look super martial artsy? No, because it's not super martial artsy, but he's going to have a really hard time pulling that gun back. If I stay here too long, he's going to yank that barrel out of my hand, step back and shoot me with it. Okay, so if we've seen this on camera too, where I go, ha, now I have a hold and I'm dominate, and yet he just pulls the gun back, steps back, or at the most we're non-dominant, right? So again, for the long gun here, I'm simply going to get it and get a hold. I want to get a hold and use this lever right here to hold this tight. So now if he tries to step back, he has a much harder time. I've got a hold of this together. Now we start the ancient Scottish mystical martial arts. And Tony is familiar with this. This was begun, of course, by Mike Myers in So I Married an Axe Murderer. It's the Scottish art of fuck you, which is mostly knees and headbutts. So I've got a hold of this rifle for everything I have, and now I've got to distract. So what am I going to do? There's knees, there's headbutts. How many headbutts do you think you're going to take before you start addressing that problem?
One.
Yeah, not many at the very least, right? Yeah. And are we going to end up in a big pig pile on the ground?
Probably.
Well, probably. But do I prefer to have a big pig pile to getting shot with a long gun.
Every day.
Every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Now, I can get a little martial artsier if you'd like when he brings that gun up. If I can get the gun off me and I can get wrapped over here and get my hand on the ejector port. Now, the big problem with that for most guns is gonna be as an optic over here, okay? So, I don't have one on this gun. Here's that, it's controlled, and I'm gonna use this other offhand and get a hold of that ejector port if I possibly can. Reason I wanna get a hold of that ejector port, if he pulls the trigger, it induces a type 3 malfunction, right? An overbore malfunction, and that gun is now hosed. Cool, now I know it's not a gun anymore, it's a big club. Now we can go to work. The alternate to that, if I get this here, is I have a free hand. He's got 2 hands on the gun, I got a free hand. Guess what that means? Pow, 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 I got a free hand. So that's a good thing. Is this a play that I want to do all the time?
No.
No, it's not. But why am I doing it?
Save your ass.
Dude's gonna kill me with a rifle, right? And if he kills me with the rifle, then I don't have any choice. So remember what we learned in the last one with the handgun disarm? That simple, fast, and full throttle works. Mm-hmm. Principles of the 5Ds plus 1 works. That's a little bit of technique, but it's not based on your high level of martial arts skill, or if I'm a Western boxer, or if I'm just a regular person that goes, what am I gonna do? Get that muzzle off you, dominate that weapon, and then again, the Scottish martial arts to distract. That will get him to start letting go of the gun, take that gun away from him. In this case, if I get the gun, with a handgun, if I get some space, I'm probably gonna do a rack and all that stuff. If I get a long gun away from him, I'm using it as a club all day long, especially because if I have got him to induce a malfunction in the gun, now I'm not gonna do that. Beat him to death with it, or yeet it out into the wild blue yonder while you get your gun. Remember, friends, bull ring works under pressure. It does.
Sorry, I missed everything that he said. There are some things that are so elementary that it brings me back to elementary school when I used to put my head down on the desk and just sleep. But that's fine. If this is the kind of instruction you want, you're at the right channel. If you want things that are engaging and effective, let me give you a little taste of Ameridote. Now, when it comes to defending against a rifle, there are 3 different approaches that I will take, okay? First one is about timing, okay? He points the rifle at me. I'm gonna grab the barrel with both hands, and what I'm gonna try to do is tempt him to shoot until the gun is empty. So, pointing it at myself, he pulls the trigger, miss, okay? Pointing it at myself, he pulls the trigger, miss. Pointing at myself, pulls the trigger, miss. I'm just gonna be doing this, trying to make sure that he fires until the gun is empty, okay? That's technique number 1. Technique number 2 would be a tactical hug, okay? I'm going to pull him close. I'm going to try to pull the weapon between the 2 of us here, okay? And I'm just gonna hold it. I'm just gonna hold it for as long as I need to, until authorities arrive, until he passes out, until he decides to let go of the weapon. See, that's the thing. If he wants to grapple with me, he's gotta let go of the weapon. Otherwise, he's got to hang on to it, right? Can't fire it unless he actually reaches down and pulls the trigger, okay? So I can even grab the weapon here, okay? I got tiger claws, okay? Got throat rips, got groin grabs. It's another thing you can do. The third approach that I would take is what I call leverage. But leverage is something that is misunderstood in the martial arts world. Leverage comes from the Latin word leave average, okay? What are the number of times that you can average how you leave a situation in a tactical way, okay? He has a long weapon. It's gonna be accurate unless he's trying to shoot a moving target. So what I do is, as he turns the weapon, I run away and I just try to move around. And what you'll see is as he's aiming the weapon, right? And I'm just trying to stay away and I'm dodging every shot, okay? And I'm just running around as far as I can, as he keeps firing. Until he's out of bullets. And then at that point you can grab it away from him, really just leaning on it. If he holds it up, in fact, you probably are ready to rest at that point. And I mean, I'm tired, so this is relaxing to me. So however long he wants to hold that up. But see, eventually that becomes a disarm, okay? Then what you do, flipping the weapon upside down, okay? Turning him around, sitting him down on the weapon here to keep it secured. You know, the barrel isn't pointed at me, it's up inside of him. And that way you can just sit him down, keep him there until authorities arrive.
Okay, friends, so what we've seen today is certainly an interesting colonoscopy. And again, the difference between a technique that is simple, fast, and full throttle and one that is highly complex. Which one works? You decide.
Combat colonoscopy. If you're gonna, that's TM. I say TM afterwards. Got to trademark that.
Tony, thanks so much for your help today.
Thank you.
Master Ken,
both very
you
much.
gonna make it, buddy?
Yeah, I'm gonna sit down. Just good job. Always restomp the groin.